Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Trials of Mana, sans Bobo, sadly. I'm the mysterious JG, and as I was hoping, I'm already in a good mood, like, playing this game. I've been off-screening it quite a bit, but hopefully I'll be a little bit more direct about getting to the game, less beating around the bush, talking about stuff that has nothing to do with anything, or talking about the old version of the game, now that I've gotten some introductory stuff done. But we'll have a little bit more here. I'll just show you the items menu. You can read about how the item menu controls if you care to. I kind of need to know that. You don't so much. But they do bring back the ring system from prior games. I can switch stuff and put it into my item ring menu. Like right now I've got a Cup of Wishes and that's it. So if I were to press down here, I don't have any spells learned. But if I were to press up, I could use a Cup of Wishes, which would be wasteful to do right now. There's also gear. There's an interesting trick. Once I have different costumes, which you get from class change, I can switch back and forth between the different costume or slash classes I've unlocked. Although you can't just use any costume from any class you haven't unlocked. So, for example, I was looking at some of the character designs, like Angela. One of her dark paths actually has kind of a neat witch outfit. Hawk has kind of cooler clothes on his dark path and his light path. We might not be seeing necessarily those because their class actually determines what their abilities and skills are. And yeah, I'm not entirely going to make class change decisions based on which outfit I want to see the characters in. But she also has locked abilities. She has a class strike, and she'll unlock one class strike each time she hits a new class. And then we haven't unlocked any moves or anything special like that. We just got her gear. But training points will eventually... There's a little explanation for them. When we level up, we unlock training points, and we can put them into these stats. It doesn't actually increase... And I was reading about this. I didn't quite realize this. Putting points into strength... you can see there, if I put 2 training points into strength, you get strength plus 5. If I put 1 training point into strength, she's not getting anything. It's not like her strength will actually go up. If I put in 2 training points into strength, she doesn't get strength plus 7. All these training points are used to do is unlock things like strength plus 5, magic recoil, reclaim, etc. Why that's important, particularly for Angela, is because she learns spells. So, like... It's weird, as she advances, and the story advances, and she unlocks her first class change, she'll get a bunch more stuff that she can learn through the training points that she can't currently learn. But for right now, if you pump points into intelligence, she's not going to learn any magic spells. She gets access to the earth-based magic from stamina. She gets access to spirit-based magic. Like Holy Bolt she gets from spirit. Luck is giving her the wind magic for whatever reason. And then fire... and ice. Fire, I think, comes from strength eventually, and ice comes from intelligence. I'm pretty sure dark comes from intelligence, but some of this will become apparent later as we get her class change. But the point is, even though it seems like, oh, she's your mage, just dump all the points you can into intelligence. It's not like Diablo 2 character building. Give her just enough stamina to survive, and dump everything else into intelligence. We're going to have to spread them in order for her to actually learn all of her spells. Beyond that, strategy, this is telling your non-controlled party members what to do, so it will be a while before we care about that. And the adventure log just gives you a little backstory on what's happening, and also it's kind of the game glossary. So let's get back to it. The story plot will advance when we talk to this mage. Your Highness Victor was searching for you. You mean searching for me? What? I called down to him. He can find me. I am the Princess of Eltena. I don't even know who he is. Is he my love interest? I'm literally not sure. We have Jose's brother here. True, it's gotten much colder lately. This game has treasure chests, little yellow, it's like Amrita things that you can touch, I guess. It's like, oh wow, interesting. There was a Sengoku Jedi corpse here in the castle, which gave me Amrita when I touched it. Neo reference rather, for anyone who's puzzled. Good morning, Your Highness. This is particularly annoying in towns, but you come up to somebody who can talk to you, a little thing appears over the head, and if you're not angled exactly right, you jump instead of talking to them. It's so hard to get supplies nowadays. There are many monsters between Castle Atena and the port town of Elrond in the east. You better figure it out. I'm the princess. Damn it. I needs food and various other supplies. So yeah, these little green dots, these are people who are not going to advance the story. I can just talk to them for background flavor. Offer up a prayer to the mana statue and your progress will be saved. But you still won't know how to use magic. Jose has many brothers. Oh my, I rarely see you here, Your Highness. May you become as powerful and wonderful a ruler as your mother. What are you implying by saying I never come into the chapel? Good morning, Your Highness. Anyway. So we can try to leave, but nothing will happen just yet, because this is the exit from the castle, and we haven't done what we need to in the story. By the order of the true queen, this area is off limits, not allowed through at the moment. And, I suppose it's a minor thing to be impressed by. I'm setting my standards against a Super Famicom era game, but all these, like, mage guards have slightly different appearances, like, minor variations to their haircuts and stuff, whereas they would have, obviously in the old Super Famicom days, have been the same sprite over and over. Although actually these two have, well, no, their eye color's different. One is slightly taller. Yeah, there's little tiny differences between them that they did not bother with back in the day. Or the Tree Queen, you cannot come down here. I'm pretty sure we get the same thing here. You see, they've got different haircuts. It's like, I'm the princess. Well, she's the queen, so deal with it. That's a good point. Her Majesty likes to take walks in the labyrinth of ice and Frostbite Fields. Frostbite Fields, Minnesota, home of Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Bullwinkle J. Moose. I believe that's where our Mana Stone is located. And I believe she's right. As we'll find out significantly later in the game. The true queen is able to keep Altina in perpetual spring, but the flowers seem to be wilting into chill. Hey, if it's perpetual spring, how come Victor's thoughts have not turned to love? I ask you that. This is the boiler room. Majesty keeps the claims. So this magic flame is treasure that we really don't care about, because again, if I find every little bit of treasure around here, it really doesn't matter because we'll be loading. I either found it or did not find it when I came through off screen. The flame is flickering weakly. But for me, just playing this old game that I remember being really fond of, and getting to see it, like with a 3D environment to explore, is pretty damn cool. Got an item seed. That's pretty important. Oh, we can talk to these ladies. ... Mental boost. We cannot allow our magic to be less effective than a common sword. Yeah, you would kind of be worthless if you did. ... Magic shield. You're not really firing at those targets, but... Stand back, Your Highness. The mages are practicing their magic. Stand back, little girl. This is no place for you. It's shade time, a.k.a. night. I will tell you, that mechanic of the day switching over, it doesn't take long. It's not like, what a horrible night to have a curse or anything. But every time it happens, I'm like, whoa, what the hell's happening for a second? It's instinct. I can't help going after these, even though I've told you they don't matter right now. Oh, hey, you're like a non-mage soldier person in the castle. It was a lady. Your Highness, you are looking lovely today. Oh, thanks. This little thing, I just threw it on. I suppose I could have worn pants, Or even made some effort to not look like I'm wearing... I don't know what the hell this looks like she's wearing, but she's pretty scantily clad. Oh, yeah, and she climbs upstairs. You can get some pretty pervy shots if you want. If you're into that sort of thing. Get the F out! You know you can't come... You gotta go to the yellow things! Okay, fine. But I can't help it. There's more things to explore. It's 20 Luke. I mean, I do have to play through a decent chunk of the game before I'm going to load all the progress. The true queen is an important meeting. Something about the fate of the kingdom or some such. Yeah, whatever. The Crimson Wizard is with her, of course. I believe it's a war council. I didn't mean to talk to you again. The mage guards may be only women, but there are lots of magicians in Altena. The Crimson Wizard is supposed to be on par with the queen herself, according to rumor. Yeah, the Crimson Wizard's character is a little weird. We'll be hearing a bit more about him later. Apologies, Your Highness. The meeting is not yet over. I cannot let you in. Please wait. Okay, I honestly thought I was supposed to go in there now that I've... But I guess if I try to leave now, a thing... When do I get to talk to Victor? It seemed he was looking for me. You weren't even here before.
The Crimson Wizard is training the mages harder than ever. I heard some were injured, but I suppose that's one of the dangers of war.
Well, they probably didn't stretch properly.
I'm not sure, but the Crimson Wizard might be as powerful as Her Majesty the Queen.
Take it back! Take it back! That's my mother you're talking about!
There you are! Your Highness, the Queen and her advisor have called for you. I will wait for you in the gardens. Now is not the time to dawdle.
Please hurry, Your Highness.
So, the implication, like, will you guys get... Is this one of these whipping boy things? Because literally whipping boys were a thing. You couldn't corporally punish the prince of the kingdom, so he would have a whipping boy that would get beaten if the prince was bad. Is this that kind of situation here? Our true queen is the reason we all live so well in this frozen country. Like, are these people going to get in big trouble if Angela doesn't... Because it's just the implication. I think I was reading a lot into little bits of dialogue in the SNES version because, you know, it wasn't as well situated as this game is to explain that stuff to me, but... this might be our last chance ever to talk to Jose. I don't know that he shows up later in the game. Have you reconsidered taking lessons, Your Highness? No way! It's not like I've needed magic so far, am I right? Poodles. And that's the only person we're actually responding to. It's not 100% voice acted, as you've already figured out. But yeah, Victor's kind of pushy with us. He acts like, like he will get in trouble if we don't do what we're supposed to do. But yeah, and in the SNES version, in these very early stages, I got the impression Angela was just kind of spoiled and, I might have been reading into the little bit of, you know, it's just plain text on a screen dialogue. There's no voice acting. You don't have facial expressions. But in this, it seems like she's getting pushed around by Victor, or at least, you know, that the people in the castle are just like kind of on her case.
This is urgent. Her Majesty is preparing our troops to invade Valsena across the sea.
Wait, what?
We must go to her, Your Highness.
Like, no questions for Victor about why we would be attacking Valsena across the sea.
This is urgent.
So there you go. I don't want to overstate the importance of the character of Victor, because I believe that's it for Victor. But it's weird. I built in my own mind, I had this notion, oh, she's got this little, like, crush on this character Victor. But just the fact that in this version, where they've got a little bit more expressiveness in the character models and his eyebrows are knitted all the time, it's like, no, he just seems like this douchebag who's always going around trying to make her do stuff she doesn't want to do. But either way, let's advance the story. Please enter, Your Highness. Well, what if I come over here instead? Just to mess with you. Please enter, Your Highness. These doors go to the same place, so I am just being silly at this point, but we will come in this way. And we go straight to story.
Your Majesty.
I mean, Moms.
You sent for me?
Angela, allow me to explain. As you know, we must control the Mana Stones to gain access to the sanctuary. That is the reason for our invasion.
That's great, but why isn't my
Legend
mom
says
talking to
if
me?
we activate the energy of the Mana Stones in the world, the portal will open. And we don't question legend.
Or the legend
We
killer
shall
Randy
begin
Orton.
with the Altenish Mana Stone.
Okay.
How will you do that?
We will use a forbidden magic spell.
The Forbidden Machina?
Because it takes the life of the enchanter in exchange for that mana energy. However, my associate and I are too important for this sacrifice.
Well, Victor's right outside.
If we use your body as a vessel for that cursed magic,
What?
your death would act as the catalyst we need to release the Mana Stone's true power.
Can we talk about this?
But Mother!
You've been a useless blight on my lineage for far too long.
Boo.
To think that my daughter could be so weak and powerless. Under these circumstances, sacrificing yourself for the spell is the most fitting end for my heir. Now come, my child.
Now, wait a second. I know that all teenage melodrama is based around your parents being horrible and you being an innocent victim, and there's never been parents less understanding and more cruel than yours before, but for Angela, it seems like it's kind of true.
No.
No.
She's gone.
Neat. I didn't know she could do that. Hey, perhaps we better find another volunteer after all. Seems like she can pull the magic out when she really needs to. Now, many years ago, last time I played this on the SNES, I believe you fight a bunch of high-level enemies you can't handle out here, get KO'd, and then the story continues along anyway. But yeah, this is apparently what the Altena's like when the Queen's magic is not maintaining eternal spring inside the castle.
Where? I'm outside the castle. But why would my mother...
What's her deal, man?
I can't return, but I have no idea what to do now.
You could make a living as a squirrel. Gather nuts in the frozen trees.
Wasn't there a village to the east? That might be my only option at this point.
So, I'm going to continue making smart alecky, jerky comments, but yeah, this is a pretty bad situation for her. I'm like, oh, what's she going to do in the village? I mean, she could go make a living. I mean, she's pretty. She could go make a living, let's say, as a dancer would be the traditional American translation of a Japanese game going in a darker direction. Let's say that she's planning to go there to be a dancer. Because, yeah, she doesn't have a lot of great options right now. And I always found myself wondering, what do... Like, I don't want to give you guys the impression of like some kind of psychopath that's like a bunch of Angela fan fiction, but I remember in particular playing her story years ago on an emulator thinking like, yeah, I wonder what like Jose and Victor think of this, because it seems like they were the only named characters. There were lots of NPCs that you talked to who all seemed like pretty normal, cool, you know, people who wouldn't necessarily be into the Queen of Reason sacrificing her own daughter, but she's the queen. You pretty much got to get out. So you strike a pose like you're going to do battle with this. Oh, that's right. This is a tutorial. So I got to... I almost never actually used that. Press an old... Oh, class strike.
I actually won. I think.
Maybe I could subjugate that thing and have it join my new army of Sahagins, which will help me retake the castle and destroy the queen.
But yeah, my recollection in the SNES version is you come out here and you fight a bunch of enemies that are leveled for when you reach Altena in the story. It's any other character besides Angela, which would be much later. And you're actually pursuing the Mana Stone here, and you just get your butt kicked. Let's show off the running away mechanic. Actually, I don't need to because I managed to evade their attention. So in a way that... So you get an area that the battle is taking place in, and if you just run to the edge of it and keep running, you can usually escape. But like Final Fantasy XIII, which this game is clearly borrowing from, you can't open treasure chests if you enter an enemy's area and don't defeat them. So we couldn't have gotten this incredibly valuable Pakun chocolate, which is not called Pakun chocolate in this game. Once again, and again, it makes a huge difference. The game is telling us exactly where to go to advance, which it didn't used to do in the old days. You would wander around, a huge amount of time would be lost exploring these forests and other areas. I remember in particular when trying to get the wind spirit, wandering around in like Heaven's Causeway or whatever it's called, and never knowing where the hell you're supposed to go. But that one and this frozen forest is the other one I remember. It's taking forever back in the day. Oh, we can actually, and in this case, you can actually jump up there. I didn't have to wind all the way back around and fight a bunch of enemies. Yeah, that doesn't really look like good outdoor snow boots. She's really not dressed for this.
Too cold. I can't take another step.
That's when it becomes extra important for you to not stop.
Please.
Well, I guess you should learn to cast magic, because clearly death is what you deserve. That's a bit harsh. But yeah, she doesn't seem to have a particularly good mom. But yeah, back in the day, if you got defeated by enemies, it would just go to that. Like you would pass out and then would wake up, as we're about to see. In a bed. And I think even in the SNES version, if you manage to get to the edge of the forest somehow through like save scumming and beating all the enemies,
Where am I?
you didn't have to get that far, and it would trigger similar cinema. I gotta stop talking about the original version. I'll eventually get to a point where I don't remember it. At least the detailed version of what you get as Angela. So we woke up in town, which is where we're trying to get to anyway, so it all works out. And we've got a little map of town. It is Luna Day. It's night, aka shade time on Luna Day. And we can no longer interact with this bed that we woke up in. And as often happens in these RPGs, this seems like it would be pretty important. These characters who saved us, we would owe them a great debt. We would want to find a way to repay them. Maybe we'd maintain some kind of connection with them throughout the story. Let's see what we're going to get here.
Oh, good. You're awake. My daughter found you in the snowfields. We brought you back to Ulrent. Please rest until you feel well.
Oh my god, that girl looks exactly like she does in the flashbacks, doesn't she?
Look, our guest woke up.
Really? I hadn't noticed, Mother.
Yay!
Yeah, that is the character model that little girl version of Angela had.
No, don't bother her. But I'll play with you.
Yay!
But I wanted to play with Cheery.
So I think that's supposed to affect Angela in that way because it's a little girl who looks exactly like her, whose mother actually seems to care about her and want to play with her, which Angela didn't have so much. But to me, it's like I'll go up and talk to her again. I can't get too much more out of this.
My child is an only child, so I can be a bit overprotective. I know I shouldn't, but I just can't help spoiling her. No, keep doing that. It's totally cool. Hey, Mommy, come here.
That's it. We never get any more dialogue out of them. I might be wrong. It might be that, like, in episode 70, when we come back with a full party, having cleared 2/3 of the story, that these characters are here saying something new. But I'm pretty sure they're not. This is one of those RPG tropes. The villagers rescue you, and they don't become characters. You just keep going with your adventure. You're never like, once we've rescued the world and not major spoilers here, but eventually it's Angela's rightful place in Altena. It's going to be restored. I don't remember a scene where she orders some of the magic guards to come and bring gold and rewards to these two who helped her. But then again, indeed, we can't actually come back here and save our game and rest any further, despite what we were told. And I'm pretty sure if we try to go back to the snowfield we came from, we can't. Pretty sure, like, if we wanted to just, okay, well, sure, we'll go there and fight monsters and raise money, and, like, we'll role play that she's living in this town safely. No, I don't really believe we could even do anything except follow the story and get out of here. When's dinner?
Oh, Grandma, she just had her dinner, but she forgot already. How many dinners does one person need? By the way, what is my relationship with the people upstairs, and are there any men in our family?
I mean, the men could be off at work. I shouldn't be making assumptions, but...
I think I'll go for a walk to boost my mood.
Well, you have nothing else to do right now. We weren't given new, like, plot instructions by the people who rescued us. There was nothing where they were like,
oh, you should go visit the sage who will tell you what to do.
But yeah, this, I believe... No, that's the port, actually. Never mind. So I'm going to do my best to ignore the story, at least as this early part. I just want to see how open world is it before you actually get to out of her chapter. I don't think it's very. There's a reward if you find the missing princess. I saw the wanted poster on the wall of the tavern. If only I know what she looked like. Knew what she looked like.
Well, what the hell kind of wanted poster was it? I mean, oh boy, good luck with that. Run away.
Maybe we can go back. Maybe you are allowed to go level up during the prequel chapter. Nope, this isn't the way. This is where Gamera will eventually be able to take us to Altena. Which means it can't... I love this art design. Look at that moon. Not at all realistic, but still, there's like kind of a neat piece of like artwork, huh? Maybe we actually can get out of here and go back to the snowfields. I'm really curious about that now.
I can't return, but I have no idea what to do now.
Well, it's not exactly a one-to-one. We cross into that screen, we're at the castle. We'd have a whole dungeon and outdoor dungeons where the monsters to fight. But yeah, she's basically right. Heading over there is the way back to the castle, where they already pretty much made it clear we need to get the F out. We've got a weapons store, and you'll see Dancing Turban Guys, which should be familiar even if you didn't watch my old Seiken Densetsu 3 LP back in the day. If you're a fairly recent subscriber and you checked out Secret of Mana, Dancing Turban Guys shopkeep should not be new to you.
Lots of wares to browse.
Luckily, this game does a better job than Secret of Mana or Seiken Densetsu 3 did of showing us, oh, Angela's already equipped something with the exact same stats. This is not something that we need to buy right now. And I will go into all the shops, because again, I'm trying to get as much backstory as we can on Angela and the town of Alrant. Because once the story carries us away from here, it'll be a real long time before we come back. This is really our last opportunity to get a feel for who Angela is that makes her distinct from any of the other protagonists who can go on the same quest. Because even though this game gives you 3 different final villains, depending on which hero you pick at the beginning, I mean, it's a neat little mechanic to get some replay value, but the overall story is pretty much the same. But that overall story is going to have to continue next time. I'm the Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm not making a promise here, but if this is moving a little slow for your taste, it's pretty much a given that next time we will start the main game. Might be a little while before we run into Duran and Charlotte, but we will get out of Angela's prequel chapter soon enough. And as Star Wars fans know, you want to get out of the prequels as fast as you can. Catch you next time.